show. Step off.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clock's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, why this up? Oh, captain, my captain, show the stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot garbage is just for you. Big breaker, cut a cold red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how it go. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. I'm watching the intro to the video of the show, and I'm thinking, my, how young we all look. and it's none of it's very all right. Some of it's got some age on it, okay. Some of it's got some age on it, but some of it's not that old. But man, we all look so young. But the good news is we're all kicking. We're still here. We're still above ground for the most part. Got one foot in, both feet ain't in yet. They ain't killed me yet. They're trying, but they ain't got me yet. So it's all good, baby. Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you tuning in. Tom Clark's main event. This is episode, whatever number it is, well over 400. I think we're 410, 411. I'll tell you in a second. But yeah, it's been one of those weeks. But thank you so much for tuning in, kids. We've been going strong since 2014 with Tom Clark's main event and also with Boink Studios, a production company that has this little podcast, as well as Tom Clark's 6M podcast, Two Nations Under Ted Lasso podcast, Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear. We also have the Patton Report, Bachman's Basement, Ray's Sports and Slams, and a few other shows there to look at. If you will, kids, before we go any further, go check us out on YouTube, Boink Studios, B-O-I-N-K, Boink Studios. Nothing's behind a paywall. All the content's free. And again, videos, audio, dating all the way back to 2014. If you like sports, we got you. If you like pro wrestling, hello, we got you. If you like movies, music, we got you. If you like streamers, we got you. If you like horror, we got you. You like books, we got you. Like video games, no problem. Everything you could think of and a little bit more. Boink Studios on the YouTube, and check us out on boinkstudios.com. I'm exhausted. I need a nap. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. All right, folks. Today we're going to review AEW Grand Slam Australia. Last week, Big Tasty and I previewed the show. We hope you did enjoy that episode. We sure had a lot of fun bringing it to you. So today we're going to review it. And we got a guest on deck. We're going to get to him in just a scoosh. And before we go any farther, kids, you know what I'm going to ask you for, don't you? Do me a favor, a big, big favor, folks. Please and thank you. Smash the like button for us, folks. So everybody out there knows that we're there. You help boost us in the algorithm. You know how that crazy thing goes. And also, when you hit like, please do me another favor. And also share this on your feed. Get some more eyes on it. Show it to your friends. Show it to your enemies even. Let's make the world a better place. Put a smile on their face so they can watch a little pro wrestling here today. We appreciate it. And let's see who's at the table here today, kids. E, we appreciate you very much. E is here. Thank you so much for hanging out, brother. And as people start to file in here today, again, kids, if you will, smash the like button for us and share this on your socials and all over your Facebook, and I appreciate it very much. Kids, before we go any farther, let's welcome back to the program a great friend of the program, a member of Boink Studios, the host of the Patton Report, the co-host of Bachman's Basement. This guy does a little bit of everything. He is a Renaissance man, kids, and he's here with this brand new podcast setup coming to you live somewhere from an undisclosed location in these great United States. Please welcome back to the show, Mr. CRP, Christopher Ray Patton. What's up, man?
Heyo. How's it going, everyone? How's it going, Tom?
I'm all right, man. I'm hanging in there. How are you?
It's good. It's good to be back. Hopefully the lighting doesn't maybe look too crazy here. We're still working through things on the StreamYard side. I'm like over here before, like while you're talking, still adjusting. But I'm not glitching out anymore. So that's a start. It really looked like an old CRT TV, which was going with the background theme there for a second.
There you go. Yeah. It's like, yeah, no, I get you. It's like some kind of weird black and white cam in a garage or something. Or like, you know what I mean? You're like, what's going on in there? It's like a crime scene camera when the cops have to pull footage from nearby cameras. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man, it's nothing for me to be live on a show and be tweaking as I'm live. Happens all the time. So, hey man, how you been? How's your week been? I know you said that you'd watch Grand Slam. I think you said today. We're going to talk about that show here today. But how's everything going for you otherwise?
It's been a great week, man. Very busy at work. But outside of that, played a lot of video games, read a lot, so it was a nice break from the past 2 or 3 hectic months. And lots of game footage recorded for upcoming shows and playthroughs potentially. So yeah, a whole new PC setup. I built a desk. That was a thing. Don't recommend it. Still
Now,
not fun to do.
When you say built, do you mean assembled, or did you go out, cut down a few trees, and make it happen? What'd you do?
We assembled.
Oh, there you
I hate I'm not going outside, Tom. Are you crazy?
I try not to go outside if I can help it. Yeah. Kids, as we said before, Chris is the host of the Patton Report. The show returned this week with a video and audio episode. There's some great gameplay there from the Warriors. He's talking about the Warriors game. And also a brand new episode of Bachman's Basement coming out tomorrow. He and Chris Clausen are reviewing Carrie. Since I just ruined everything for you, Chris, you want to talk about those 2 episodes here?
Oh, yeah, sure. The Warriors is a phenomenal game. If you like the movie The Warriors, I would recommend checking out, going and playing it in whatever way you can. Since it is a PlayStation 2 game, you're probably going to have you might have to do some emulation there. I will say that the Internet Archive is your friend. If you do want to check that out. The show was a lot of fun. We also talked about things not necessarily directed around video games, but that will affect them, such as hard drive shortages and RAM shortages. And Western Digital basically saying they've already created their entire supply of what they would normally do in a year this year for hard drives for AI companies. So that was a fun discussion. Wow. That's non-video game related, but indirectly video game related. And for Carrie's just a great movie, great book. It was a super fun episode to go back to. We also talked about the 2013 Carrie. So you'll get a very difference of opinion between me and my co-host, which is always fun.
Interesting. Yeah. Kids, the Bachman's Basement episode will come out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. So don't forget to set your notifications for that one, because it's a great episode. You don't want to miss it. Well, Chris, let's go ahead and jump into it. Grand Slam Australia was not a traditional AEW pay-per-view. It was on television. AEW on Saturday Night Live. And, I think the show delivered. Before we get started here, there were some great matches on here. And, as you and I have talked about many times before, even the cards that, and I don't want to use the word weak, but even the cards that look less than stellar, there's still phenomenal talents usually having great matches. So, even on a Saturday night that's not a pay-per-view, you're like, man, that was a great show. What'd you think about Grand Slam overall?
The whole card and the way it came off, it felt like just a really, really, really well done house show with some big things coming out of it. And don't take that. I don't want anyone to take that the wrong way. Let me preface that with how WWE used to do house shows in the 80s with Macho Man headlining and some big actual important matches when they would go to the UK. It kind of had that vibe for me. I thought the show was incredible. It was a lot of fun. I don't know that anything groundbreaking happened on the show, but it was a lot of fun to watch. And there's some really good matches. My favorite match of the night was the MJF match over the ladder match, which I know a lot of people love, but we'll get into that a bit later and why I liked one better than the other. But it was one heck of a show. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was for 6 matches, kind of 2 hours and 30 minutes, right? All in as far as the time goes. I wish their pay-per-views were like this, a little more compact. Maybe some of the matches getting a little more time. So 3 hours, 3 hour, 30 minutes. I think that would be awesome, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I mean, get in and get out. Leave them wanting more. I think AEW's theory on the long pay-per-views is give everything to them. Don't hold back, which, if you pay good money for a ticket or pay good money to watch on pay-per-view, I actually really appreciate that. But there are moments where I'm like, is less more? At this point, Chris, they go all in, no pun intended, on their huge, huge pay-per-view shows. At this point, if they did back off and try that, would it work? Would it not be enough? I don't know, man. What do you think about maybe... Could they find a balance if they tried that? Is it possible?
I think that there's definitely a balance to be had there, because now that they're doing 12 pay-per-views a year, essentially. You got to think about like some of these smaller shows don't necessarily, some of the what I would consider some of their smaller shows don't have to be 6-hour long pay-per-views, right? Just give us 5 or 6 good matches, great matches, with good storylines. I think that goes a long way. Because I do get exhausted watching some of these pay-per-views, and it's part of the reason why they get broken up into multiple days a lot of times. This one I was able to watch all the way through earlier this week, and had a lot of fun watching it. And I was kind of like, man, I like this format. You know, WWE does that right now for larger pay-per-views. They tend to go a little longer, but for the smaller ones, they've really narrowed down what you're getting there. I don't know that they need to go as far as WWE has with their content, but sometimes less is more. And there was quality matches on this with a good flow of the card as well. That's one thing I will say, is that I thought the card was structured very well, with kind of a comedy match, a come down match. I know how much you love insider terms, Tom, so we'll throw that one in there. The come
That's
down
an insider
match.
joke, by the way, kids.
But yeah, like I like the way the card was designed, and there was nothing on this. I enjoyed all the matches. There was nothing really to complain about.
I agree.
There were people out there for sure complaining.
Oh, well, I mean, of course. I mean, it's, as we've said multiple times here on the show, kids, there are people who have hated this company since before it existed and ever since then. But that's not us. We try to give every company a fighting chance. Let's get into
I am normally the grumpier bear about these things, so
I think there's a difference between being grumpy and being critical versus I wish this company didn't exist. And that's never been you. That's why I like that, you know. To each his own, kids. If you want to sit back and wish for the downfall of somebody, I guess you can. But geez Louise, I don't have enough hours of my day to sit around hating like that. So I'd rather see this thing succeed. So the show kicked off with Jon Moxley, the man himself, versus Konosuke Takeshita. There's all this hubbub online, Chris, that they didn't know that the time limit was coming and all this other nonsense. And it did feel improvised at the end when he kind of pushed off on Takeshita and Takeshita hit the move. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes this stuff is hard to call. What was your take on the match itself and the ending as well?
I mean, with a time limit draw, don't you want it to kind of have a cataclysmic ending that doesn't make any sense because they ran out of time?
I think so.
I kind of dislike when they do, okay, there's 5 seconds left and they both knock each other down and neither of them can get the cover. And that's the time limit draw.
Yeah.
Which is a very old school thing that you used to see a lot. But I like time limit draws. I didn't have a problem with the ending. If they ran short on time, you can always do, if this was the unplanned finish, you could always just go the route of saying that it was 20 minutes when it really wasn't 20 minutes and then dealing with the 15 people that actually timed it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like if you go back and watch Royal Rumbles, they're not coming out to that timer. That timer just does what it wants back in the day. So you can spoof that stuff a lot. So yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, as far as endings of matches goes, this was not the one that I had the biggest problem with.
They were 20 minutes on the nose, supposedly. Actually on the nose, 20 minutes. So,
which, I mean, if you're really doing it, like I said, it makes more sense when, you know, time just expires and they could be standing completely. One could be outside of the ring, one could be inside of the ring for all I care, because you're giving it's a time limit draw. It shouldn't really, it feels more phony when it's like I said, if they're both like unable to make a cover or you get the 2 count, but the time limit ends before, like that kind of stuff. Doesn't necessarily work for me. But when it's just a straight time limit draw, New Japan's done a better job of that in recent years, where it just is like they're just still fighting and it's over. So sorry guys. See you next time.
Just don't get me started. I'm a broken record, everybody, so my apologies. But man, I just love the way things are formulated in that company. I just love that, you know, when the bell rings, and you know this, the talents always stick around. They always kind of still look at each other and have the little face-offs, because that match was not the end. That match is probably building to another match. So the tag matches, the guys usually stick around. You know, the singles matches, usually when it's over, they both split. But like the tag matches, the multi-man matches, each guy that has heat with another guy, they still kind of stick around, jaw at each other. Maybe they'll put hands on each other, maybe they won't. And I'm like, I don't know. To me, in my head, I'm like, this is kind of the real world. In a real world situation, you're exhausted. The bell has rung. The match is technically over. Why would you still do this? But on TV wrestling here, it's like, well, let's still keep going. So, like, that's a personal preference thing for me, Chris. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're treating it like a sporting event, if you're watching a hockey game, for instance, when the period expires, the period expires. They don't just keep going, or there's no like a goal after, rarely is there a goal after the buzzer goes off kind of thing. It just makes more sense when it just seems like two guys are fighting to fight for sport, and it's, hey, guess what? You didn't finish in time. Now they could have come out and went like overtime, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
You just want the ref in a hockey game. Like one of the players gets a mic, he says, "Hey ref, give us 5 more minutes." And the crowd starts chanting 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
That'd be
Which they have
wonderful.
done before in AEW, right? They've done the overtime.
Oh,
for
sure.
TV
Yeah.
time limit draws. They have done a good job. When they first started the company, they did a couple of these, and it kind of came off with a mixed reaction, but I think that they've spaced them out far enough now that I don't think anyone would have a problem with this. Especially with both guys kind of coming out of the match still looking strong.
Oh, it's such a good match. Takeshi can do no wrong. I mean, he is, for me, I think Takeshi is in the top 5 best in the world at this point. He's so freaking good, man. Like, I just don't. People can debate that if they want to, but I'm not, because to me, he's absolutely in top 5. And then Mox is, I can't say Mox is underrated, but I think at any given time with all the Death Rider, he can't lose stuff. And then, we've come out of that. And I think now people really appreciate how good the guy is. Like, Chris, we never questioned if he was good. We always thought he was good. But a lot of us got hung up on, man, this Death Rider shtick is going nowhere. It's so weird how this thing has ebbed and flowed to the point where we are now. It's like they weathered the storm, so to speak, and they're back. And to me, Death Riders is a top faction in AEW. And I know Don Callis family has like 27 dudes in it, but in terms of the way it's booked and the way it's, each guy carries himself, Marina's gotten so much better over the past year. I'm all for it, man. I think Mox and Takeshi delivered here too, dude.
Yeah, I'm still a little, I really wanted them to turn on Moxley and us go down that rabbit hole, because now we have this weird situation where Moxley's almost coming off as a babyface, but the rest of the group's not, but they're not going down the road of him getting kicked out of the group, or seemingly not. They're going into this faction battle, right? That's what kind of seems like they're gearing up towards, which is okay. And maybe we'll get something out of that. But yeah, as far as Moxley as an in-ring performer and what he brings to the show, I think you could easily put him in the top 10 current wrestlers without a doubt. And if someone said that, I would be like, yeah, okay. He's not in my top. He's not in my personal top 5. Now on the other side of that coin, with Takeshita here, incredible. Some might say best wrestler of the year in the Wrestling Observer.
Yeah.
For those out here who voted, I think it was kind of well deserved.
Yeah.
He had one heck of a year in 2005.
He's fantastic. I can't get over it. Can't get over how good the guy is. Let's switch gears a little bit here. Let's talk about Hangman Adam Page defeating Andrade El Idolo. And we know this sets up Hangman versus MJF at Revolution. Chris, a few of us were kind of debating back and forth. I know, like last week, Tacey and I both were kind of talking about how, you know me, kids. I'm old school heel versus face guy. Sorry, everybody. So, like, it would only make sense that Hangman would win this match because Andrade is not a face. However, Andrade has looked so good lately, Chris. He's just looked so good. His charisma is off the charts. The way they're booking him, I'm really a fan of it. I like the whole taking a selfie at ringside with the girl. I love that shtick. I love it. I think he looks great. I think he's just oozing charisma at this point. First of all, what do you think of this match? And as a follow-up to that, how do you feel about Hangman versus MJF again?
It makes sense with where they're going. It's almost like they're lining people up for MJF to run through, and Hangman is going to be one of those, seemingly. But it makes sense because of their history. Hangman has 2 wins over MJF in the past, so you can build off that. and continue forward with what MJF is doing. The match itself, I thought, was phenomenal. Andrade is currently on a different level. He is the star that I thought he was going to be coming out of NXT when I said this could be the next top guy for WWE before they fumbled that ball
Big time.
really hard. And some of that might be due to him and his relationships and the way he carries himself, but he's having a lot of fun right now, and it shows with his in-ring work and, not just in AEW, but all the independent companies that he's working for. And he has been on one heck of a run here in AEW. Was undefeated until this match. So him getting his first loss here, I didn't have a problem with. The stick and everything they got going for his character, I think, is really, really fun.
I'm a fan of it. Man, that's a great comment about how we thought he was going to be one thing coming to NXT and it didn't turn out that way. That's a whole other topic, but no, they did that a lot with a lot of those guys over there. Ricochet was another one. You know what I mean? Like, get him to the main roster and really nothing happens.
In some of that, I can't blame on booking, though. Like, if you go back through the history of Andrade, he's had problems in multiple companies, not just WWE or,
Fair.
Even in the past in AEW, he's had some issues, and there's, but if he can come out the other side and be this Andrade week to week for the rest of his career, then you're looking at like an absolute phenomenal wrestler. What I thought he could be coming out of NXT.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, again, I was here for it. I like Hangman Page. I know at any given time, some fans online, just their admiration of Page sometimes it gets a little crazy, but there's also a lot of haters as well. So like I'm not gonna say I'm in between. I've always been a fan of this guy. I think he is at his best when he has an edge, as he has now. I love that promo he cut the other night where he's like staring into the camera saying, "I will end you." I think he's at his best when it looks as though if you set him off, the wrong way, or if he gets set off on the wrong day, everybody's head's going to roll. Like it's like setting fire to the house. Like it was the wrong day. Was it wrong guy on the wrong day at the wrong time, right? Like I like that for him. I don't like I'm the white meat baby face, but I also don't like I'm a full-blown heel. I like that he's a face, but if a heel pushes hard enough, he'll go there. Do you know what I mean? Like
you want more of the Clint Eastwood, less of the John Wayne. That's what you're going for there. You want
I like that.
The good, the bad, and the ugly versus a true grit kind of situation.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there. And I mean, I guess the weirdest thing is that he's in a lot of matches, and this goes across the company, where he's not even really the true babyface in the match, right? In a lot of situations, or he's wrestling other baby faces or people that are heavily shades of gray. So him having the edge kind of just puts him on a level playing field. At least he's not having to cut the white meat babyface promo when no one else in the company is, because then that does become its own weird thing, right? Where it just seems out of place on the show. But Hangman, I don't know. I have no problem with him getting the shot. I don't think he's going to beat MJF.
I don't either.
I think that belt's going to stick on MJF for quite a while. So
well, they've placed that freaking Cody stipulation on the match now. Okay, in case you don't know. It's going to be Texas Death Match. MJF is thinking up his stipulation. I'll let you know. I'm like, what does that even mean? The stipulation is don't lose your belt. To me, that's the stipulation. But Hangman's stipulation is if I don't beat you, I will never challenge for the world title again.
Yeah, it's the dumb. This is a dumb babyface thing too, because he won a contract for this title, but he doesn't have to put a stipulation on himself. Realistically, which is I hate when baby faces do dumb things when they're already going to be at a disadvantage against a heel.
And I got to be honest with you, I think it hurt Cody when he was there. I think it hurt his character, and I think it didn't lead to his leaving. Something else is behind that, but I don't think it helped at all. So I don't like this.
Right.
For Paige.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, you immediately started getting people turning against Cody when that happened, and then you get the Nightmare Family stuff, and them wanting him to immediately start pedigreeing people and turning heel before he left. Like that was a is a big thing. So it is a weird stipulation to throw on yourself.
Yeah.
And then how do you backtrack out of it? I mean, I guess you just do the Dusty Rhodes thing where when he left town and he came back with the mask on. Right. And everyone's like, I know that's Dusty. That's the way you get around it, right? Like,
I love it.
win the
I
title,
love it.
take the mask off, and you're Hangman. Maybe that's what they were going for. I thought that for sure that's what they were going to do with Cody, but he didn't stick around long enough for it to ever become a point of contention where he would show up as the Midnight Rider 2 or something.
So good. I love that so much. Dusty coming out. I don't know who Dusty Rhodes is, but I'm the Midnight Rider. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
No attempt to hide his body. Magnum, remember they were the James gang. Magnum come out, the hair's hanging out of the back of the mask. Like,
which would have been great with Cody
So
because
good.
like he's got all the tattoos, right?
yes, so good. Oh my God.
Like, no, clearly that is the Midnight Rider. And they could have got the Music Brothers from the Almond, could have got the, the music from the Almond Brothers. It would have been a
So
whole
good.
thing. And I'm assuming that's where they were going with that eventually down the road.
I love it.
But yeah, maybe that's what they're going to do with Hangman here because I don't see a world where he is beating MJF for that title. I feel like they're lining up a lot of people for MJF to run through. That's kind of what it seems like.
And to your point, like it's a bad baby face move because if he walks it back, then you're allowing the face to defeat his own credibility. And I've never been a fan of a baby face looking less than. I've never been a fan of a baby face. When a baby face tells you I'm going to do something and he doesn't do it, that hurts him. If a heel tells you that, it's not quite the same impact. He'll say a lot of stuff. They threaten a lot of stuff. He'll says, I'm going to kill you. You're not going to kill anybody. But like if a babyface says, I'm going to win that belt tomorrow and he doesn't win it, that's kind of a big deal. Like, occasionally he's fine, but repeated, nah, dude. Again, Chris, I'm in my head, I'm that guy that I'm like, yeah, but I don't believe it now. I don't believe in this person anymore, this character. I have no reason to support him. No reason to think that he's going to be a man of his word because he's walked it back already.
That's kind of why the Dusty thing was so brilliant, right? He didn't really walk it back. He tried to find a way, a funny way around it, the loophole, so to speak. But yes, I agree with you. It's kind of one of those things where why are you doing anything for MJF, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, if anyone needs you've beaten him twice. If anyone needs any kind of stipulation on the match, it should be MJF, not you.
I agree.
Yeah, the heel should be the one that's like, well, why don't we do this? Something to try to give him an advantage.
Well, I guess
versus the baby face.
Yeah, and dude, I guess the thought is, well, I got to talk him into doing this because he don't want to do it. And I'm thinking, but you already got the title shot.
Yeah, he raised the contract at the pay-per-view, so it doesn't matter. Like what MJF wants doesn't matter. You could have done a whole storyline where MJF is trying to find ways out of the match, or if he's pushing Hangman to the edge, and if Hangman touches him, the contract's null and void. There's so many other ways to set up what they were trying to do to get that stipulation that they didn't do. So it just makes your babyface look dumb because you could go the route of you build up. MJF has a stipulation where if you hit me, it's null and void. He hits him and he's like, okay, well, we're going to do the match. We can still do the match. But here's all these stipulations around it if you lose, right? Which would have just helped MJF as a heel, as well as put Hangman at a disadvantage and have a reason for him to be in that situation where if he loses, he can get a title shot again. Like there's other ways to do what they're doing versus this. And all of those ways have been used in the past. So it's just, take a little bit of time and think the idea through. I think with this one, because it does make your babyface look dumb to just put a stipulation on themselves.
Yeah, and to Ray's point in the chat, like Swerve turned heel again Wednesday, which I think we all kind of saw that coming. If anyone's going to turn heel again, it's going to be him. But in my head, it feels too soon. However, it is what it is. What's done is done. But, Paige not turning heel is absolutely the right call. So, yeah.
Right. But that has nothing to do with Paige putting the self-restriction on himself or the stipulation, right? Like,
no, I just, in my head, where I'm going, Swerve versus Hangman again, which,
yeah, that's fine. But like what does that have to do with the match that he's currently in at the next pay-per-view? We're not there yet. You can still set up that stipulation in a different way and have Swerve, cost Hangman a title shot forever. You could still do the story
Sure.
and it make more sense than just having your babyface look dumb.
Yeah, no. And you know what? Maybe that's where my head's at. But also, I'm thinking long term. Like, they had such a phenomenal feud. There was moments in that feud between those two guys where, like, I've never seen anything like this before. I've literally never seen two men do these kind of things to each other in a pro wrestling ring. But, like, when you go to revisit that, man, I'd be cautious. I'd be like, how in the world do we follow it up? How, you know what I mean? Like, how close do you think we are to that, by the way? And I'll quit worrying about it.
Well, I mean, if Swerve's turning heel, you got the stipulation set for the match where Hangman can never, go after the title again.
Mm-hmm.
It's all roads are pointing towards Swerve costing him the title and MJF retaining, right?
Mm.
And then that sets up that feud, and they can run that for a while. I guess the real question is, did we get enough of it the first time around? Because I think I kind of got enough of what they could give me the first time around, because they did pretty much everything you could do to one another. Had people breaking into houses and stuff in that feud.
I got enough of it. And I say that, and I love both guys. But as a fan, I got enough. I don't know what more you can do. And if the answer is, Tom, they're going to up the violence, I don't think I care about that. And I'm not lightweight when it comes to wrestling. I can watch stuff, but like, I don't know if I need that. Well, anyway, my head went there, and I saw Ray's comment, so I had to.
Are they gonna pull guns on one another, Pillman style? Is that the next level to their feud? Because really, as far as what you could do to each other in a ring without going full Darby Allin and setting each other on fire or something, you're kind of, like I said, you're to the point where they've already filmed stuff out of the ring where people are breaking into each other's houses and threatening families, and it's like, it's definitely a blood feud.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that far removed, with enough happening in between, for them to come to that feud. I think you'll get good matches out of it. So there's that. But storyline wise, I don't know that I would have went back to the well so soon.
I totally agree with you, actually. Let's get a little bit lighthearted here, kids. The Babes of Wrath retained the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, also known as Mega Bad. It was good to see the ladies on the card, of course, and retaining the championships. And I think I picked Bayne and Ford to win, even though they were in Australia. But I ended up being wrong on that. What did you think of this one, Chris?
I enjoyed the match. I thought the finish was a little weird with them not winning, but then introducing someone that's going to clearly be grouped with them, because why would you wait until the team that you're going to be aligned with loses to make yourself known? I thought that was a little silly, but match itself was cool. I like Lena Cross, so that's exciting. It's going to be cool seeing her grouped with Mega Bad. Sorry, I was reaching for the name there of the faction. And yeah, I mean, those will be some interesting matches going forward, and how they rotate that fabulous Freebird 3-piece going in and out.
Man, I got to tell you, yeah, we got comments in chat about the faction is going to be really good. I agree with that. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. As a fan of New Japan, kids, I don't know how you can go around hating factions too awful much, because they do a lot of it in Japan. They do it very well, to be honest. But, we've talked back and forth here, Chris, about whether or not they do it well in AEW, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it does feel as though, well, if you're a woman in this business, why in the world would you not want to go work for AEW? Like, they just give so many opportunities, and they'll feature female talents from all around the world. You don't even have to technically work for that company. As long as there's a partnership between them and Stardom, whoever, they can bring you in and to work matches and whatnot, their talent versus yours, that kind of thing. But we've taken another instance of, here's another 3-woman faction. So it's like, I'm okay with it. Trust me, I have no problems with it. What do you think about, Chris, the idea of, we're going to sign people, we're just going to group them together, and at least they're getting TV time, but this is what we're doing? Does that make sense on a roster that's so heavy at this point?
Well, so with Lena Cross, right? She's been signed for a while. As far as I know, they just waited to debut her here for whatever reason. I'm assuming hometown. As far as putting them together, I mean, you got tag titles, you got trios titles, you have 2 other women's titles. You got to have something. You got to have enough talent to do all of those matches. So
Absolutely.
at some point, you put yourself in a situation where, much like New Japan, where you have a lot of talent, you got to put them in factions together. I think Megan Bain and Lena Cross together as a dominant tag team and protectors of Penelope Ford, maybe going after one of the other titles, is one of the more interesting 3-piece factions that they've had going in the women's division, because you almost like 2 bodyguards. Like I said, Fabulous Freebirds, right? You do something like that, especially in that division with the size that Megan Bain and Lena Cross has. I find that very interesting, at least, versus just we threw these people together. It seems like there's more of an idea behind it.
I agree. And it looks like Cross and Bane are technically like the same. They're nose to nose, which is pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, as long as you can spin the plates and you don't drop them, and everybody can look good and get what they need to get on TV, I think it's fine. We'll see how it plays out. I'm gonna be pro until there's no reason to be pro. Do you know what I mean? No reason to be con. But
I would tend to agree with you there. I mean, I'm just going to give it a benefit of a doubt, because I think that the Megan Bain and Lena Cross together as a tag team in that women's division could be very brutal. And then you can have Penelope Ford just being like a Michael P.S. Hayes, basically. I'm protected by others.
Yeah, right.
Which is fun if they do it properly. But they haven't, it's not been enough time yet. I might hate it 3 weeks from now, but as of right now, I like it. I like the pairing. I think it's interesting at the very least. I do hate the way that they, like I said, why not just have them win the titles? It kind of makes Lena Cross look dumb, letting the team that she's going to join lose and then show up. Like, what's the point of that?
It's like in kayfabe world, they're going, now you stay back here until the match is over, okay? And when the match is over, you come on out. You can help raise our arms and stuff, and we'll pose.
It's very silly, because it's at some point it's like, why didn't you come out and help us?
Help us win. Yeah. She's like, you want me to help you guys win? No, don't do that. You just stay back. I just want to see that conversation.
She took advice from Hangman Adam Page. She's like, hey,
right?
Let's do the dumbest thing you can think of.
Yeah.
Double down on it.
Right. Jeez. Speaking of the ladies, Timeless Tony Storm, I got to get your take on this too, because I've asked a couple of different people. There's a theory floating around out there that Tony and Cassie together has downplayed Tony's star status in this company. What's your thoughts on this?
I don't think so. I think they're cooling Tony off a little bit to try to give. I think that she's taking a backseat to try to build up the rest of the women's division. That's my take on it. And people really enjoy these matches. If you look at if you want to look at social media interactions with things they do, watch like how many views like Orange Cassidy and Tony doing that dance spot gets. So I guess it depends on, diehard fans versus casual interactions and all of that jazz. But what at the end of the day, like, it's Tony Storm. I think she's pretty much kind of untouchable. At some point, you just throw her into another storyline and she could recapture whatever she needs to. I think she is one of the few people that are kind of bulletproof in what they do in AEW.
Totally agree. And they put her with one of the best guys there, who's popular, who's over all the time, whose star never really seems to fade, no matter how poorly they might book him sometimes. Like, I have no problem with it at all. And like, if you're not gonna have a top guy with a top title, he needs to still be in a top spot. So like, how do you accomplish that? Well, you have him work for the title. Well, if that's not what they want her to do right now, can you put her with another top star that still keeps her on TV and cutting promos and still getting over? I don't know what else they really could have done here, Chris, besides having her and Mina go after the tag belts again. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, if anything, it's a fun mid-card match with a thing that the crowd really seems to enjoy when they're live versus behind the keyboard.
Right. Yeah.
So this it's not like they were getting booed out of the building when this match was happening.
Exactly right. Good point.
So I don't know. I mean, I get it. I get the frustration behind that, but what are you going to do? Just have her win the title again? You got to build up other stars so that she can be in have a meaningful feud with someone. And so if that means taking a back seat and doing comedy matches with Orange Cassidy, as long as they don't create an intergender tag team title thing or something, I'm fine with it. I don't have a huge problem with it. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was placed perfectly on the card because it kind of gave you a break between everything else.
Yeah.
And it was just fun.
And on top of that, if you keep the belt on her forever, then the same fans will go, when's she gonna lose that belt? She's had it forever. Like, you can't win with some people.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it
the
doesn't
Roman
matter.
Reigns, John Cena thing. Like, you love them until you don't love them.
Love them until you don't love them. Yeah.
So,
The match in question, kids, is Orange and Tony defeating the Death Riders, Wheeler Utah and Marina Shafir. Are you an intergender guy? I don't know if you and I have ever really had this conversation on the show before. Tell me if I'm wrong or mistaken. How do you feel about men versus women in pro wrestling? Are you okay with it?
I'll go back and forth. I go back and forth on it. I think so this is done as a comedy match, right?
Mhm.
So it's for something like this, I think it's fine. It's when you start creating intergender titles and you have women in, like, if for instance, if you have Timeless Tony Storm against MJF at the next pay-per-view, I don't know that I'm there for that.
And kids, I for all our female fans out there, I always feel the need to gently remind people, maybe not so gently. I don't consider female pro wrestlers to be dainty flowers that aren't tough. I've never been that guy. Okay, I've been on the record since the first days of this here podcast of complaining why women weren't getting more. So, like, I'm here for the women getting all they can get on TV. But I've never been a big supporter of men versus women in a ring. In my opinion, it looks away in this day and age of certain things happening in the country and in the world. I don't know if I want to see a woman taking a forearm shot to the mouth by a man, even though it's a working punch, even though they're all protecting each other. I get it, kids. I know how the game's played. But the optics of it, Chris, and we don't have to go down this road too much, the optics of it for me are what give me reason for pause. But like to your point, with it being a ha-ha match, AEW is dancing with it at this point. But in my opinion, I don't think they're going to go full throttle. I don't think they will.
I would hope not, because it just, to me, it has an association of like bad indie show when it starts, when you start going down that road. If I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of the defenders of some of the AEW women's matches that a lot of other people hated when they get a little too violent. And I'm like, no, like, if you have a daughter and you're watching that show, you want them to be shown in the same light as the male wrestlers, right? Like within their own division. But it would be really weird for like Tony Storm to have a match against Brody King at the same time. You know what I mean? That's like it's a big difference. So it's wrestling, like you always say, is a buffet. So there's a lot of people that like that stuff, and that's cool. It's not for me. If it, like I said, if it's going to be like a comedy match, a one-off thing, kind of like this, then I'm fine with it.
I agree with that. Yeah. We're of the same opinion on that. 2 matches left on the card, kids. Let's talk about Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe, Game 7, Match 7. I love the Game 7 reference, by the way. Ladder match for the AWTNT Championship. I don't know who was asking for this, and I say that with all due respect. I don't know who was asking for this, but once again, these two guys freaking deliver. These two guys cannot have a bad match independent of each other and honestly together. I don't think it's possible. I think they crushed. I don't know if we needed a ladder per se, but is this a definitive win, Chris, in your opinion, for Fletcher? I mean, is this a statement win? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
It's the third win in the series?
They were tied 3-3, I think, right?
Yeah, so this would be Game 7. So right? Game 7, walk-off home run. I thought the finish was a little weak in this match. I liked everything else about it. Like, if you're gonna do the finish, like that spinning brainbuster off the ladder should have done it. versus the just ladder pushover.
Yeah.
I had, like I said, I had a problem with this finish more than any other finish on the show, which
Mm.
may be controversial just because this is one thing that I've started to hate about ladder matches is all of the crazy stuff happens in the middle of the match and then you speed rush to everything else. There's not really any selling. And then you get a finish like this, which there's so many other, like we had a J driller through a ladder, right? Like there's so many other moves that you could have made the finish that I would have liked more.
Good point.
But yeah, like that's nitpicking. It was still a great match. I feel bad for Mark Briscoe. He's constantly the guy doing jobs for everybody right now. But that's because he's so good.
He's so good.
Also, it tastes like shrimp on the Barbie was really funny.
Yeah. He's in such a great spot. I'll always push for Mark to get more. But he's in such a great spot. He's in the role of the veteran that can give you a great match. And if you need me to put this guy over, I'll shine him up, make it look like $1 million, which you don't have to shine Kyle Fletcher up too awful much. I mean, for a lot of people, Kyle Fletcher is their best wrestler in the world. I don't know if I would personally say that, but he's up there. He's freaking phenomenal. He's great. Like, embarrassment of riches with the amount of talent in this company. I mean, I enjoyed the match quite a bit. Again, I don't think these guys can actually have a bad match. I was a big, big fan of it.
Yeah, they're great dancing partners for sure.
Yeah.
And this one I would feel fine seeing later on down the road again, versus like what we were talking about with Hangman and Swerve, because I feel like there is more. We haven't been to the farm yet. That's what I'm getting at, Tom.
I wanted the farm match so
take,
bad.
Take Kyle to the farm, see what happens.
I wanted it so bad. I wanted Fletcher to be making that face like Regal. What is this? Where am I? You know what I mean? God, that would have been so good. What's up, Tim? He's comparing this match to the Death Triangle versus the Elite from a couple of years ago. It's not a bad comparison. Yeah. I assume this is going to be it for a while, which I think 7 matches is good. Let it run its course. You could always run it back in 6 months if you wanted to. Give it a fresh coat of paint. Give it new stakes, higher stakes maybe. Maybe Fletcher is world champion. By the way, what's your over and under opinion on Fletcher getting the world championship? We talking a year? We talking 8 months, 6 months? What do you think?
I mean, God, like within a year, Will Ospreay's back, right? So I don't know.
I think Ospreay versus Fletcher for the world title is probably going to be where they end up at some point.
I would say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like Kyle Fletcher a lot. It's interesting. What opponent do you put him against? Is it MJF? And can he hold his own in that kind of storyline with MJF promo wise? That would be my biggest question.
Talking about Ospreay?
No, Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher, yeah.
We're talking about the near future, let's say 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming MJF's going to run through Hangman, probably Takesha. There's probably a couple more that'll be in between there before him and Kyle Fletcher would face off.
And plus, you just had Swerve Pin Omega. That's a big deal. Like in the pecking order, in terms of what we see and what the pecking order of who top contenders, quote unquote, are. I mean, Swerve, if he wasn't already there, he's just moved up a spot, technically speaking. So, I mean, can I be straight with you? I don't think you book Swerve and MJF anytime soon, because look, kids.
Well, I mean, it depends. So it depends on what, if you do the finish, like I was talking about with Hangman, then the next feud for Swerve will be Hangman. Then you have, like I said, you can go to Omega, MJF. There's a few other places that you go that already have some built-in history.
Yeah.
Before then, and then come back around to Swerve, or have Kyle Fletcher win the belt and then Swerve's the next opponent there. That seems to be like they have kind of an idea of the general challengers for the next like 4 or 5 months kind of set up.
That's a good call. Fernando talking about Fletcher should lose at TNT. I don't disagree with you, but they love belt stacking on guys in that company, boy. They love it. Like they'll give you 2 or 3 belts at a time, man. I don't care.
Yeah. There was a great sign that said too many belts. That's all it said. And I was like, yeah, I agree.
Oh,
you could have you could have these matches without having to tie people into see, that's the other thing is when you have this many belts, now you've tied people into belt storylines. Because you have to have a contender for each title, or you have to combine the belts, and now you got this weird How many belts are in this company? 12?
15. I don't know.
I mean, no, I mean, I'm not joking.
No, I don't know. You might be right. I
Yeah,
haven't counted.
there's without counting Ring of Honor, there's at least 10 I can think of.
Ooh.
Right? Because you got the tag titles, 2 sets of tag titles, 2 sets of trios titles, 2 TV titles. Then you have, they got rid of the FTW title, so not counting that one, but you have the split men's title that was one and now is split apart again. And then you have the heavyweight title. Like, we're getting close to like 10 belts. And each of those belts have to have a storyline. So
there's 4 men's titles. You got the World, you got the TNT, the Continental, the International, right? That's 4 men's titles.
Right.
And then you got the men's tag team titles. That's 5. And again, not counting Ring of Honor belts, as you said. And then the women have, and then the trios, that's 6. And then the women have, the women's at 7, tag that's 8, trios that's 9. If there maybe there is a 10 I'm not thinking of.
Yeah, like I said, close to 10. I'm not looking at a list right now, but you got to have 10 storylines.
Yeah, good call.
So you split, that's why it seems like those mid-card titles flip a lot, because you got to move people in and out to other storylines for other belts. There's no way around it. This is the problem with having that many belts. That's why people complain about it, because it locks you end up locking in a lot of things. You don't leave yourself, if you're booking, you don't leave yourself a lot of room to move people around without it not making any sense.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, Mark Briscoe now can go chase a different title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this storyline's over. But does that really make sense, or would he just continue to chase the same title? Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know that, they need to eliminate every belt or anything, like only have 3 kind of thing. I'm not saying that, but you do kind of lock yourself into a weird spot. And that's why you get so many factions and the other things that people complain about. It's kind of osmosis in a lot of ways, because you have to write something for each of these titles, have to be defended every so often.
No kidding. Tim's asking about Kyle versus MJF. I'd like to see it, but I in my opinion, kids, MJF is better against faces, not in the ring. I'm talking, reactions, how he works, promo battles. I just think if you're going to put someone against MJF, it should be a freaking babyface, Chris. I don't think a heel's the right move for MJF, in my opinion. I don't think it is.
I would agree with that. And then also, I don't think Kyle is someone I would want on the mic against MJF. And I also don't know that would be the best match of all time for either of them. I don't know that their styles would necessarily click. I could be completely wrong on that, but
Fernando's the predicting Ospreay wins the title at All In from MJF. I'd be okay with that. I think he needs that belt. I think I don't think he needs the belt, but I think it's high time he gets the belt. I mean, I think had he not been injured, he would have had it by now, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Either that, or they would have done something like he would have worked in New Japan, won the belt there, something.
Yeah. Well, we've got one match left, kids. MJF defeating Brody King to retain AEW World Championship, and now, of course, we know MJF is on to Hangman Adam Page. What do you see for Brody at this point, now that he's had this world title shot? During the match and after the match, are you thinking, I'm not suggesting it's all or nothing. I'm not trying to put you in a weird spot. But when you watch it as an observer, are you thinking they should keep him, or can he go back to tag? I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Not that anything would hurt him. I'm not saying that either. But in your mind, where should he be right now?
I mean, I'm assuming that he goes back to the tag with Brodito, right?
I would assume.
And that's nothing against, I mean, I feel like Brody King is great and definitely could be in the heavyweight picture anytime you need him to, but it's also one of their best tag teams.
Very true as well.
I loved Bandito being out here during this match, especially during the sleeper hold, kind of getting the cheer going.
Yes.
Getting him to Hulk up. I thought that was really great. There's a lot of things one of the reasons I love this match is it felt like an old school wrestling match in a lot of ways. MJF channeling his inner Ric Flair pretty much this entire match in a lot of ways, like the way he was taking out the leg, biting the knee, just taking a back body drop and yelling "oh crap" censored. Like there's just a lot
So
of very old school things in the way that with modern touches. Obviously, it wasn't it wasn't a spot for spot Ric Flair match, but there was a lot of modern touches that I loved in a way that on a show that had a crazy ladder match and some of the other things that they did on the show. It was kind of refreshing to see, like an old school sleeper hold spot, for instance, and a tag partner cheering his friend back up. It's just a lot of cool stuff. That's a little bit of nostalgia, but that's why when I said earlier, I think it was my favorite match on the cards. Probably has a lot to do with that.
And I think he looks good against bigger guys. I think the fact that MJF is not a small man, but I think put him next to Brody, he looks like a tiny guy. Like I think that works because he's got such a Napoleon complex happening. I'm the most important guy here, and I'm the best you've ever seen of all time. And then you put him against a monster. And I like the way that he worked him. Like you should legitimately be scared of Brody King, unless you are Luchasaurus, unless you are a couple of other guys in that company. Maybe scared is the wrong word. You should be cautious of wrestling Brody King. You should be very aware this guy could freaking kill me tonight. And I love the way that MJF works him. I think it makes a lot of sense.
And that's kind of what I was saying with Kyle Fletcher earlier, as far as I don't know that they would have the best chemistry, because I feel like MJF, his best matches are people that can work kind of more of an old school style. Whereas like with Kyle Fletcher or Swerve and some of the matches he's had in the past, when they go a little too modern, it's where it gets kind of in the weeds with MJF. And that's nothing saying anything negative. Like MJF can do those matches and they'll be fine. But I think where he shines is kind of more of an old school style of wrestling.
I agree. Tim says Swerve, in his opinion, is better heel than face. Totally agree. Could not disagree with that.
I agree with that as well.
He's great. Swerve can't do any wrong either. I just, if you're going to, I'm not talking Terry Funk levels here, but I think it's always great to have a wrestler who fans know, boy, that guy will do anything. Like, it doesn't matter what anything is, he will freaking do it. Like, all he wants is that belt. I think at any given point, without ranting too awful much, I think at any given point, maybe we don't have enough of on-air talent going, that belt's why I'm here. It's the most important thing. Like I saw people complaining a couple weeks ago about there was too many world title contenders. I'm like, what am I hearing? Like, what, Chris? When it's only two guys, doesn't that give the sense of it's all booked? We're telling wrestlers not to talk about the world title. In my opinion, it makes more sense for every man to be talking about that belt.
Yeah, everyone should be. That's the top of the top. That's just to be your end goal, especially if you're not doing actual weight classes. Exactly. If everyone's allowed to go fight for any title they want, then why would you choose the lesser title? It kind of says a lot about unless you have a feud or something that they built in to that storyline. Why else would you care about the other belts?
And don't anybody get it twisted. Tom's not advocating for real pro wrestling. I'm not saying that. I don't need my pro wrestling to be real. My pro wrestling can be as rigged and as set up as it's always been. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not saying we need a hybrid where it's real, it's not real. I don't need any of that crap. I'm just saying too much in one direction, and it makes it feel like, well, this is becoming cartoonish. And I don't need cartoonish. There's cartoon wrestling. It's mystery wrestling. It's fun. It's all a joke. None of it's meant to be serious. And everybody knows the deal. Everybody's in on the gag and everybody's fine with it. But I don't know. Maybe that's a weird comparison, but
no, I mean, just to kind of take your point, anytime you're watching anything, you want it to have some semblance of sense, right?
Yeah.
Like what's the why? That's all you're really looking for. The rest of the in-between stuff is fine. Do it as goofy as you want, but you need a good reason of why the thing you're watching is happening.
Yeah.
And if you're, as far as having too many contenders or too many people that want the world title, that should be everyone in the company at all times.
Should be everyone in the company.
Unless there's
agree
some
with
kind of
that.
bonus with so many, you could build that into the storyline, at least give us a why. Like, why would I go after the TNT title? Because TNT pays out a bonus if you hold the TNT title for 6 months.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
ways to do those stories to make those other titles important. Not when you have 10 of them,
Yeah.
but there's ways to make, that's what you used to do with the TV title. You get a payout on it. Tell us about that, right?
Because it's the television title. See, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, I love
And then there's
that.
a reason why you might be like, well, there's a lot of competition in the heavyweight division. I can go over here when it's stunning Steve Austin, for instance, and win this TV title and go on a run.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with that. I've always been a fan of the old school NWA World Television title, and of course, the closest thing we have to it now is the TNT Championship, and the TBS Championship, which I'm all for. Kids, there's your show, by the way. There's your review of Grand Slam. We've already went an hour, but any news or headlines that's happening right now that's grabbed anybody's attention? Real quick, kids. If I've not, by the way, kids caught up on Fantastica Mania in New Japan. By the time I got to watch it the next day, it was still in Japanese, and I was half watching it and half working. So I don't know if the English commentary is up yet or not. Chris, I don't know if you caught New Beginning, but New Beginning was interesting. There were some good matches, but Jake Lee versus Suji wasn't awesome. I don't think Jake Lee was the best challenger for him. I don't think it helped Yoda all that much. And, I understand they're in a transition phase. You and I have talked about this behind the scenes. They're very much in a transition phase. I don't worry about Yoda. Yoda's great. Yoda's where they need him to be. They put the bell on that kid for a reason. I think he's killing it. But I worry for him because I think he needs to beat the best of the best. And right now, with the exception of Zach, Shingo, a couple other guys, the term best the best in that company today is not what it was 6 months ago. So, I'm a little concerned for the guy, man. Any thoughts on New Japan right now?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of harkens back to the last conversation we had after Wrestle Kingdom. Just it's transitional right now. I think that they're still trying to get the stars aligned. Suji, I believe, is the ace. I stand by that. I think he is the guy to carry that company forward.
I agree.
It's just finding the right opponents. Right opponents who don't work for AEW. That's the other the other key, right? Like finding guys in house. Yeah, I agree. Jake Lee wasn't that guy. Also, I thought that was kind of weird coming out of Wrestle Kingdom, the way that they set that up
I didn't like it. Yeah.
To begin with. So I kind of went into that with not liking it. But yeah, I'm excited for where this year is going to take them headed into Super Juniors and G1 and seeing what comes out of there, because I feel like that's how they're going to build whatever that next opponent is, whoever that may be.
I mean, I mentioned Zach. I think they should run back Zach. I think Zach versus Suji with Suji as the world champion is a good match. I think it's a good feud. But, they've worked each other before, so I don't know if they could spruce it up, make it look good, make it look fresh. But I just feel like give him some quality wins at this point.
I mean, do you just have Zach win G1 though?
Maybe.
So you build it through the G1 as opposed to, maybe you have some kind of filler matches in between there, but we're not that far out from G1 at this point, like
that's true.
3 months out.
Yeah.
So maybe get some more filler. And if you want, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that's a good way to go. And you're going to get AEW people in the G1 as well. So there's a lot of different ways that they could take it.
By the way, we went through that match. Didn't even talk about Wheeler getting his haircut. Forgot to mention that bit about the stipulation. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I mean, was there going to be any other outcome? Like, I think it was a foregone conclusion that man was getting his haircut.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm a stickler for stuff, as anybody can tell you. And this is not me trying to crap on anything, but it kind of got ruined for me when they had Tony on live TV say that she'd look good with no hair and she was okay with it. At that point, I don't know why I care. I still enjoyed the match. Don't nobody be thinking I didn't watch it. But at that point, I don't think the face should be scared of a haircut, but there should be some you know, I'm much too beautiful to have these gorgeous locks shorn off my head. That would have been enough. But like, I don't know, Chris. Sometimes wrestlers say weird stuff, and I'm like, then why do I care about? It's fine. I'll let it go. I did let it go. I only mentioned it today. That's all.
Yeah, it was easy to forget that that was even a stipulation on the match for me because the one person who would have been the most affected was Tony Storm, and like you said, she kind of no sold it. It's like, well, she's not wrong. She could just wear a wig.
Sure.
It's not
But
that
don't tell me
big of a-
that.
yeah. That's why if you're going to do one of these, it's usually hair versus mask
Yeah.
because there's more on the line. You put someone like Andrade against Bandito or something where it's hair versus mask, it kind of makes a little more sense. Pays more homage to where those matches come from.
Yeah. Tim says storyline between Darby and Gabe has been. I love Gabe. I love Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd is another guy that can go there. And I'm not saying elevate Gabe today, but in my opinion, Gabe and Swerve are very similar because Gabe is that guy that will like, I will do anything it takes. I don't care who doesn't like it. Like, you can use the word heel, sure, but he was turning face in Japan because the fans, he didn't do anything turn face. The fans just like, all right, I respect him. Let's start cheering for him. So they did. But like, I think that he and Swerve are very similar in that regard, Chris, that Gabe's like, whatever it takes. If it kills me, I'm getting that belt. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a it's a great storyline for sure. I'm looking forward to more of that.
I love him, man. The criticism for match, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I thought the match was fine. Anything Tony's in, I just don't understand why anybody craps on anything Tony's in. I don't get it either.
I mean, it had some of the biggest fan reactions out of the night. So
she's a hit, man. She's a hit.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, it's in itself is kind of supposed to be, like I said, a come down or a comedy match in the middle of this card to set up for this crazy ladder match and heavyweight championship match in between what you've already seen. So, I mean, I don't know. I had no problem with it. I thought it's like, what are people saying the problem with it was? That it was a comedy match?
Maybe.
Or they didn't like the outcome of the entire Death Riders letting him get his hair cut with no kind of repercussions.
Fernando, you got two different crowds when you're saying they boo Tony but cheer the other, that doofus in WWE. One of the worst gimmicks of all time. It's two different crowds, though. I mean, that's something to keep in mind. You're talking about the fans online poo-pooing it. Now, that makes sense. Well, you've got tribalism, Chris. You've got, and AEW fans can be as guilty of it as WWE fans can. Like, this is the best wrestling of all time and everything else is crap. Like, if you want to have tunnel vision and have blinders on, I guess it's fine. I don't understand it. But like, I think it's available in any company with fans where they're so territorial and they're so tribalistic that if it's not in this company, it's garbage. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, at some point though, when you're booking a card, right? You can't have every match be a 5-star match or no matches is a 5-star match.
No.
So you need stuff like this. I just, whatever. People just are mad because it's an intergender match on a pay-per-view. And that's really the problem with it, is that they're like, I don't like intergender wrestling and it's disgusting. And why would they do that? And also there's a little comedy to it. It's this, like I said, if you want other worse displays of this, there are plenty of companies out there you can go look at.
Right.
I thought this was fine.
Who's Gargano's wife? What's her name again? The blonde. Can't remember her name. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, she was in NXT for a while. I can't think of her
Can't
name.
remember her name. Well, I saw back in the day her working hardcore matches against a man, and she had a crimson mask, as the 80s guys would say. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. By the way, women get color, everybody, it's fine. Everybody's fine. She's okay. All right. But like, women getting color against each other, yeah, against a man. God, man, I don't know. I'm a big softy, Chris, I suppose. I'm a big softy.
It's also like, you grew up in the South, much like I did. There's this thing that like, you don't ever lay your hands on a woman, right? Like that's a thing that's kind of taught here, at least in Georgia. And I'm assuming Carolinas as well.
Absolutely.
So it's a hard mindset to break, especially with wrestling being the way it has been forever.
Mm.
Now, I tend to agree with you, though. I have no problem with a Hell in a Cell match, whatever,
Yeah.
with women. Well,
Yeah.
let's go. I'm down
Yes.
for it. But like, I don't want to see Brody King murdering Tony Storm
Can
on a
you
weekly
imagine?
basis.
My
That's
God.
not fun. And if you want to look at how that can negatively affect your company, I don't know. Look at Tully Blanchard winning the TNA title in TNA.
Mm. And also, man, don't make me go down this road. Also, doesn't it kind of make a statement that, yeah, look how tough I am. I beat up a woman. And again, I'm not trying to.
There's certain characters like Andy Kaufman where you're like, okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Because he could barely win anything because he was horrible. Right. That was the joke.
That's the
right.
Joke.
That's the joke. And again, I'm not even trying to suggest a woman isn't tough. Please don't nobody get upset here because it's weird if you do. But like, women are tough as nails. I love that too. I love that they're not treated as, no disrespect, rest in peace, Miss Elizabeth. I mean, valets have a purpose. I get it. Man, am I ranting. Valets have a purpose, and I get it. And I'll tell you off mic, Chris, the rest of that sentence. However, I'm trying to keep it clean here and nice at the end. Nothing bad. Everybody calm down. But no, I just, again, I don't know what the hate is for. I don't understand that part either. But
yeah, I mean, this isn't a match that anyone should be thinking that hard about. Honestly,
don't think that hard about it. Yeah.
It's this, we've seen this match. You know what I mean? Like, this is just it's a comedy spot match. It's very much felt like something they do on house shows.
Yeah,
we've seen the majority of these spots before. You knew what the match was going to be going into it. Nothing really changed out of it.
Yeah.
I just, whatever. It's fine. Just skip it. Just skip intergender matches if they're not for you, I guess.
Yeah.
WWE did a whole intergender tournament that was all on Facebook Live. Just keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty awful.
Pretty awful.
Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman were a team in that.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the key difference there is that men couldn't touch the women, right? Or they'd let the women touch the men, but not the other way around.
Right. Which makes no sense if you're a heel.
No sense if you're a heel.
Yeah. If you're a dastardly heel anyways, you might as well get the heat, right? Like,
mustache twirling heel. I can't strike a lady.
It's kind of a weird situation. That's why most companies that book series storylines don't go down the intergender rabbit hole, because you open up a world of potential problems. Yes, this discussion and whether people like or dislike it, and you're going to split your audience anyway, so there's not really a reason to do it. Like right. China, for instance, like when she was beating guys, some of those guys' careers never recovered from that because there was a mindset of, well, why should I ever care about this guy again? They lost to China.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's part of your audience. So you need to know your audience when you're booking these things.
You would think. As a wrestling fan, it would make sense to have women's trio belts down the road. You're talking about an AEW or a WWE? I guess. You're talking about AEW both? Yeah. Well, kids, that's it for us here today. I think that's all we're going to have. Let's see.
Jeff Jarrett recovered all the way to another company.
All the way to another company, never looked back.
So, I mean, and took him getting to TNA and Vince Russo booking him as a top guy to actually recover. If we're being honest here,
world champion on a sinking ship. Wasn't he the last? No, Booker was the last champion. But I remember as WCW was on life support, and it was NWO's Silver and Black or whatever they were calling it, and the set had changed, and Russo was there, and they're booking Jarrett like the world champion. I just remember watching it live, going, "Wow, this is not working." And Jarrett's old school, and I didn't dislike Jarrett. His dad was Jerry Jarrett. I mean, this guy, you talk about an old school pro wrestler, that's Jeff Jarrett. But I'm thinking, I don't like this. This feels like a consolation prize for this guy. You know what I mean? It's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, and I love Jarrett, and I'm not taking anything away from him. We had the wonderful opportunity to interview him before he went into the Hall of Fame on my previous show, Wrestling Geeks Alliance. super nice guy, but I think he would even tell you like he wouldn't have done that job if he wasn't already getting out of there. And he actually made them give him a ton of money to do that job for China. Like he kind of
Wasn't
held
it?
them hostage.
It wasn't a
Like
million, wasn't it? Wasn't like 500,000 or something. It was a
it was
huge
a,
amount.
I can't remember if it was that much, but basically JR had to give him a duffel bag full of money.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
they have
Lot of
both
money.
talked about. And if he wasn't already on the way out of there, I don't know that he would have done that.
Yeah. Fernando, with a great question. What if the Crockett's were responsible with NWA and never? Real quick, in my opinion, I just think too many dominoes had fallen. I think, Chris, I don't think this was as you know, this wasn't an overnight decision and things fell apart. I mean, one of the reasons he started flying guys on the private jet was because of Magnum's accident, because it scared the crap out of him, and he didn't want that to happen to any of his other top guys. So he started using a private jet. First of all, it costs money. Second, the fuel. Second, flying it. Second, paying the pilot. All this other stuff. Like, and then they moved from that tiny little convenience store office they had to a much larger building. A lot of people push back against that. There's a lot of stuff in the history of that company, Chris, where it's like not one thing did it. Several dominoes fell. And then, of course, Vince was coming after them at the same time. That didn't help either.
Well, I mean, even when they sold it to someone who had buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of money, it didn't necessarily work at first.
It's true.
It took a massive rebound and a complete change of the way the show was produced and filmed. And like for all of Eric Bischoff's faults, right? Like none of those companies survived. Like AWA didn't survive, and they weren't in the same financial. They weren't blowing money left and right like the Crockett's were.
Right.
It has more to do with Vince and buying talent and getting TV deals done and aggressively pursuing that stuff than it does to do with the way the Crockett spent money.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there was only two companies left by the 90s, realistically. So it's kind of that's a hard question to answer. Could he have pulled a Mick Foley and been cheap as possible and continued to run a show for years and years and years? And we live in a completely different world where WCW never existed. Sure. But what does that look like? Does that end up just being Smoky Mountain Pro Wrestling kind of thing? Local to just us in the South at some point, because Vince had already, put everyone else out of business.
That's a great
point.
It
was on that path.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Bischoff signing some of his top talent and deciding to do a live show and having all these crazy ideas that actually ended up working, which could have failed, could have failed very poorly, and having, Billionaire Ted backing him, that probably wouldn't have worked either. It's a weird thing to think about. There's a lot of caveats to there, and there's great books written about the subject, but to answer the question, if he would have never sold it, I don't know that it would have mattered. I think the writing was kind of on the wall for most of these promotions.
I agree. I think there's not just, it's like after a breakup. What caused a breakup? Well, there was 100 things over 2 years. You can't, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it's hard to pinpoint just one thing. It's layered and textured and took a long time to get there. Like no company loses $1 million in overnight. Well, yeah. But like
this would be a great 6M podcast where we could put together some notes on this, because just pulling it off the top of our heads without financial numbers and what TV stations in what territories were showing Vince's shows versus everyone else. There's a lot there to dig into to answer that question.
Yeah, I agree. Well, kids, there you have it. I think we're going to call it a day and get about our weekend. Chris, before we get out of here, let the folks out there know where you are on the internets.
Yeah, it's Christopher.R.Patton on Facebook and Instagram, and obviously part of Boink Studios family. So you can check out our shows. The Patton Report, that's just me, solo show. We're going to be there's some different things coming up there. We're still going to try to do gaming news, to have more gameplay for sure, and potentially some streams in the future. If you like Twitch, like watching people play games, that's on the horizon. And then as always, Bachman's Basement, where we read Richard Bachman books and Stephen King books, and then break them down and discuss them and talk about their film counterparts. It's a really, really fun show. So check that out. Shout out to my co-host, Chris Clausen on Bachman's Basement.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Chris, thanks as always for joining me, man. I appreciate you. And hang out for a minute. But yeah, we'll have you back on soon. And thanks as always, dude.
Thanks for having me. Everyone have a great weekend.
All right, kids, there he was, Christopher Ray Patton himself. Thanks again, kids, for hanging out with us here today. Apologies for the late start we had there, but again, it's been a long week, and but it's all good, man. We did our thing. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us here today. Remember to please and thank you visit boinkstudios.com, BOINK, boinkstudios.com, and please give us a follow on the YouTube. As we said at the opening of the show, content dating all the way back to 2014. So you've got 12 years of content there you can go through. Pro wrestling, a lot of pro wrestling, movies, music, video games, novels, sports, you name it, we got it. So please go give us a follow on Boink Studios YouTube. None of our content's behind the paywall, as we said before. And please be sure to bookmark the website. We've got brand new podcasts coming out Monday through Friday again. We have Mondays are Ray Sports and Slams live at 6 p.m. Tom Clark's 6M podcast comes out Tuesday. Wednesday, Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear, returned this past week with the season 2 preview. We're off to the races moving forward with season 2. 10 episodes you can enjoy there, kids. Thursdays, the Patton Report comes back to you. Friday, Tom Clark's main event, of course, that's us. And on Saturday mornings, Bachman's Basement. So 6 days a week. Sunday's the only day we take off. Go make your jokes as you want, okay? It's fine with us. In Boink we trust, baby. Go have fun with that one. I don't care. It's my show. So thanks, everybody, again, for hanging out with us. We do appreciate it very much. Thanks, everybody, for giving us your time, for giving us your attention, for downloading, for subscribing, for doing all the above and a whole lot more. As always, it means a whole lot to us. And again, everybody, we hope you have a great weekend. Watch you some pro wrestling this weekend. Get caught up on New Japan. Watch some stuff. Go out to your local shows. Support local pro wrestling wherever you possibly can. And we appreciate you guys very much, as always, for hanging out, being part of the show, and being part of the experience, and for enjoying, and for following and liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. That's all we got right now, folks. We'll be back here next week, barring any unforeseen circumstances. But that's all we got for today. We appreciate you very much, and we'll see you next time, kids.